Today's add-on is seriously something special. It's a game changer. It will totally change your world in the coolest of ways. But here's the kick. It can also turn things a bit wild and mythical, or even a little creepy, depending on where you decide to journey. But this is a journey and a story that only you can write, and will be written by every different player. Discover biomes both above the clouds and below the surface, but be careful. Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today we have the newly released add-on More Biomes by Pixelusion. I want to give a shout out to them for providing me a free early copy. Can't even speak, but with that out the way, let's go ahead and get into the guidebook. If there is a crafting recipe, if you lose that, you can go ahead and craft it with a toxic sapling and a book. But without further ado, let's jump into the guidebook. There is a lot of information, but they do provide a wiki that you can visit that will have all the detailed information that you will need, from animals that can be tamed, what's hostile, where to find biomes, and all that good stuff. So just gonna kind of flip through the pages here a little bit just so you could kind of get a little glimpse into what we will be looking at. There is a total of 13 biomes, and I believe it's 35 structures, if I'm not mistaken. But there are a lot of mobs, both hostile, friendly, and tameable. Some of them are breedable as well. But as you can see here, we go through the book. That information is present, and there's also new food, a few new weapons, a few new items that will help you in your journeys. One of the new weapons is a sword. And it's an invisibility cloak, which is super cool, and bandages. But let's get into our first biome. The first biome is the orange forest biome. So these biomes, I noticed, generate in a way that I've never seen before, at least from my experience. I am aware of another add-on doing something similar, but this is the first I've seen that they're like so huge. But each biome is gonna have its own wood, with the exception of two of them, which are the underground caves. Don't know what was happening there. So the orange forest can be found in old growth birch forest. I believe they replace vanilla biomes, so you will kind of see them mixed in there with like birch trees and stuff. So if you're looking for this one, this is where you can go. And if you don't already, the best way to find these is to use chunk base. Look for the seed that you would find whatever biome you're looking for, and check in that area, and you will most likely find the biome you are looking for from this add-on. So of course each biome is going to spawn monsters, animals and stuff like that, but you will not see all of them in their biomes while I'm searching them, because I had peaceful mode on for some parts, and then I was on creative in others. So what I did was, at the end of the video, well, after I show all the biomes and structures, you will see all the mobs individually. Now if you want to know where each one spawns, some of them are kind of self-explanatory like that, but you can check the wiki for more information, because there is a lot of content and a lot of mobs for me to go through each one and list individually where each one spawns. This video would be like 2 hours, 3 hours long, so I will not be doing that, but I will leave the link to the wiki in the description of the video, so you can go ahead and check that there if you like. So of course each biome is going to have their own wood, which you can use to build your own doors, planks, trapdoors, stairs, fences, and gates. And I wanted to fly up high so you can kind of see how the biomes generate. So they do generate widespread. They're not small patches like a lot of the biomes that we have or biome add-ons that we have on the marketplace already. So these structures, there will be structures inside the biomes as well, but for the most part, I spawned these in myself, so you will not see them back to back. At least you shouldn't see them back to back like this. But I wanted to show off the structures while I was in the biome so you could kind of see. So I believe with this biome, there's a total of 4 structures for you to search, which will contain loot. Now, my only complaint about the structures is that some of the loot that you find is kind of OP. Like you'll find like diamond swords, nothing netherite, thank God, but you'll find like diamond swords, diamond armor, diamond chest plates, all kinds of stuff like that quite frequently. But according to the developers who I spoke with, he says that the structures are rare to find, so it kind of balances out. But you'll see further in the video that some of the chests, you'll have some structures that have like 4 or 5 chests, and there's so much in there. So I did give him feedback that maybe a little bit less of the stuff that you do find, because it's a little bit overpowering, some of the stuff that you find. And I know a lot of players like to have their loot findings balanced, so definitely something for them to consider, in my opinion. But let's continue. I'm getting kind of going off on a tangent here, but this is another one of the structures. Super cool builds. Every single one of them are amazing builds. So I don't know who their builder is, but they did a fantastic job on this. But as I can see here, you know, there's some gold, diamond pickaxe. This is the second diamond pickaxe already. Copper, flint, beetroots, and again more diamond leggings, beds, and it'll be even cooler to make these bases your home. So I need some of them I flew up as well to see if there was any hidden loot up top that you couldn't see from down there. It's possible that I missed some, but I didn't see any when I flew up there. The barrels will also contain loot, as well as the chests that you find. So that's also cool. And then you'll find some tree saplings as well that belong to their respective biomes. Now, another issue that I kind of came across is when I was playing on with vibrant visuals, the fog was overwhelming and you couldn't see much. So that's why I turned it off for this video. So just a fair warning, if you're going to do that, be mindful that it's going to be very difficult to see. So I'm not sure if that's a vibrant visuals problem or if it's a fog problem that they need to tone down the fog a little bit. But that is something that I noticed. So then we also have this other structure here, which is a well. I didn't find anything in it, but there's water in it. But it's kind of cool to come across if you're exploring and you see a well. Give some life to the world. Alright, so the last structure we have is a pumpkin that I couldn't find it, so I did spawn it manually before I entered another biome. And another key feature to take note of is every single biome will have its own unique ambience to go along with it as you enter. So some can be creepy, some can be magical, and some can be peaceful. So just depends on where you enter, but you will be seeing all of them later on. So again, a lot of diamonds, which I was not fond of. Hopefully they do kind of tone that down, because I'm not a fan of finding so many diamonds so like that. But again, the structures are super cool. So with this one, you know, there's gonna be a chest, of course. And then we're gonna show off some of the mobs inside this one. So they do attack, but I wasn't creative, so they didn't attack. And when you kill them, or when you know, get rid of the mobs, I want to say kill them because that's not a nice word, but if you get rid of the mobs, they drop different kinds of wood, and it's always random from what I've seen. So there's a raccoon there sleeping, so cute, look at him. And then of course each biome will have its own unique foliage as well, so you got some new leaves and stuff like that. But now we're going to move on to the next biome, which is the Enchanted Forest. Let's have a listen to the ambience. So eating the mushrooms will give you the nausea effect, but it will also give you a positive effect. So I believe this is one of the crystal golems, I think it's called. I can't remember. But some of the mobs in it. So you can see that biome kind of stretches all the way down there. Now, a bug that I did report to the dev, and he is aware of it, and he's planning to get that in a hot fix, is with the wood, you can't use them to make the vanilla tools. So you can't use, like, you know, enchanted wood planks and sticks to make like a sword or something like that. So, but he is aware of it. He is going to fix that. But I just want to give you a fair warning. So, as you can see here, I'm trying to make it, and it's just it doesn't work. And that's, from my experience, that's the same with all the trees and all the biomes. I could not make anything with those woods. So now let's go ahead and check out the structures. This one I believe has 4 structures as well, if I'm not mistaken. There's this, which I believe is a pavilion. And of course there's loot in there. And you can see the way the fences connect. The fences connect as they should, so it seems. So that's pretty good. So there's that, and then of course there's these barrels that have loot inside as well. Some emeralds, paper, iron ingots, diamond shovel, ender eyes, copper, sugarcane. Let's go ahead and put that diamond on. A totem of undying, golden apples. I mean, let me know in the comments if you guys think that's overpowered. But I don't know, maybe I'm in the minority, as I usually am. But so the next structure is the tower, I believe it is, or the castle. I believe it's the castle. Sorry. And this one has you know, loot inside as well, barrels and chests and stuff that you'll see inside. Now, another important piece of information that I did forget to include is that this enchanted forest, you can find them in windswept hills and flower forests. So if you look those up, you'll be able to find this enchanted forest in those biomes. So I didn't find anything inside the pots, which is good, kind of cool. Again, there's more chests. There's a worm in there. Don't know exactly what to do with that worm. Kind of still messing around with that at this point. So I was 100% sure. Crossbow, mushrooms, name tag, gold ingots, cactus, stone sword, nether quartz. Interesting. I don't think that should be there, but I guess it isn't too game breaking because it doesn't really have a game changing effect regardless. But my opinion, as always, blaze rods. That's interesting. Next we're going to look at the fountain. Just coming up, there is a chest at the top of the fountain that you can get to. I love admiring the builds. They did such a good job, man. I don't know. I'm a big fan of them. So I had to pull out my handy diamond pickaxe and get myself up there. Some more diamond leggings. Let's go ahead and drop down. And the last structure I think is tower. I believe that one is a tower, if I'm not mistaken. It's either a tower or a house, I can't remember. Or maybe this is the castle. I don't know, I forget, but there's either 4 or 5 structures in here, so it's quite a lot too. And here you got emeralds, water bottles. This would go really well with the difficulty brutal add-on. If you need to drink some water, you can save yourself right there. And again, more loot, ender pearls, diamond axe, some items from the add-on as well, like exclusive stuff, bloom heart, iron ingots, beads, another diamond pickaxe. So crafting a diamond pickaxe is no longer an issue, which never that has really been an issue if you're really going in to find diamonds, but that kind of saves you a headache a little bit. Got some sticks, food, raw chicken, more raw gold, more raw iron, and then it's another level. I didn't see anything up here, but I wanted to check anyway out of my curiosity. So with that out the way, now we are moving on to the Red Whisper Forest, which is one of my favorites. So let's listen to the ambience in here. So the ambience in this specific biome is quite haunting, if you ask me. So the Red Whisper Forest can be found spawning inside wind-swept forest and the stony shores. And this has a total of 5 structures. And I'm sorry, the previous 2, they had a total of 4. It wasn't 5. So the first one we are going to look at, kind of explore around a little bit, just to see what the structure looks like from the outside. And it looks incredible. As I mentioned earlier, I spawned this one in manually, so that's why the trees were in the way, because it won't spawn like that, or it shouldn't spawn like that. So check around, there's nothing on the outsides of it. And again, let's give a listen to the ambience, because I want you to hear certain things for yourself. So you can definitely hear the sound of the whispers in the Red Whisper Forest, which is kind of cool. I guess for me, that's how it got its name. It's kind of dope. But the doors look amazing. They have like that Japanese style doors. Super cool. And I love the red also. There's something about this red that, I don't know, I love it so much. But anyway, let me stop gushing. So we got some more loot, diamonds, some bookcases or bookshelves, ender pearls, food and stuff as usual, more emeralds. We got raw bear, name tag, diamonds, some diamond tool, diamond axe, diamond sword, golden carrot. There's a lot of stuff. See, this is what I'm saying, like, there's a lot, like they give you a lot. Not everything is overpowered, but you do see the overpowered stuff quite frequently. So next we have one of the Torah gates. This one has loot as well. This one looks super cool. Don't be fooled by that because there's stuff inside. This one I also spawned manually, so this won't be spawning as weird as if you see it there. So you got the red saplings. There's not really anything else besides those 2 chests, which is fair enough. It's a small structure. What I liked about this one is that the plants that you find here can be used to make red dye. So I like that. I haven't really seen that much, anything like that in other biomes. Now, let me say this, I do not own every single biome add-on, so I cannot offer my opinion as you know, as a fair comparison, because I'm not comparing them, because again, I haven't played them all. But for me, out of the ones that I have played, to me this is the best one and has been my favorite. So I hope you guys do enjoy this one as much as I do. But that is the other Torah gate, I think. And then we have the tower, which is the last structure right over there. Oh, I'm sorry, not the last one. There's one more after that. My mistake. So let's go ahead and build across so we could get ourselves inside. One thing I noticed is the break speed on the fences with an axe is a little bit slow. I don't think that's the same speed as vanilla axes breaking that, but I could be wrong. I'm not a Minecraft expert. But again, we're gonna do the same thing, run around the tower, see if there's anything inside for us to grab, and there is nothing. All the loot appears to be inside. So we got some barrels with 2 iron leggings, rotten flesh, bows, bookcases, chisel bookcase, you know, doors. There's a lot of the same type of stuff that you find. There's not really anything that I found that was kind of exclusive besides some items from that specific biome being inside that chest. But it all seemed to be kind of like general loot, like diamond stuff, you know, some stone stuff and whatnot. Also, you can strip the logs, just so you guys know, which I did not do. I forgot about that, to be honest. But this is the last structure. So now we are going to the Shroomland swamps. So this biome will only spawn in mushroom islands. So if you find one of those, consider yourself lucky, because this is the only place you will find this. But this one is super cool as well. I like this one a lot. It has a very different vibe, mythical. It's very nice. So this one has a total of 4 structures. Not much, and some of them are similar, like that one right there. Now that one on the left that we will be checking out in a second, I spawned in manually, but there is one that did spawn in naturally, which I will show you that when we get to it. So you can't eat these mushrooms, at least it didn't let me eat it, but you can plant them. So let's go inside this one. I think this is the double house structure, and of course this is going to have its own loot inside. Of course, you know, it's stuff like potions, ender pearls, double doors, even a back, and upstairs that leads to the back with another chest inside. So let's see what we got in this one. Carrots and stuff. So let's head back down and check out the next structure. The next structure I think is the small house? I can't recall the actual name, but has structures. I mean, I'm sorry, has chests as well. This one was kind of weird. I don't know what happened here, where like the mushrooms kind of like grew over the house. I've never seen that on any of the other ones. I don't know what happened there, but this one I believe is the large house structure. This one I really like the design with that pink on there. It looks really cool. So I couldn't find a way to get into this one, so I just broke some wood to get in, but this one is going to have its own loot as well. It's a pretty one to have, and a nice island to live on. It's pretty cool. So you have gold ingots, some more water bottles, a nice fireplace to relax. Then the last structure, oh, I'm sorry, well, this isn't the last one. This one's a well. This one is nice too because it has some amethyst that you can grab. So that's always helpful, especially if you have like one of those add-ons that adds like amethyst armor and stuff. And then we have the last house that I spawned in, as you can see with the command up there. And all that's in here is just basically a chest and a seating area. So that's it for the mushroom swamplands. Now let's make our way to the Lunarwood Forest. The Lunarwood Forest spawns in Sunflower Plains, and it has a total of 4 structures. And you see some of these flamingo looking things. They have a name, not red. I can't remember the name. We'll get to that later on, but again, you can see here that I try to make the planks to see if I can make any tools, to see if that works, and it does not. But again, like I mentioned, the dev is aware and they will be fixing that. So here I was using touch controls. I don't know why. I think I forgot to put my controller in, but now my secret's been revealed that I play on a mobile device, which you guys probably already knew that. But another thing I liked about this is that they have leaf decay like vanilla, so that's super cool. So this is one of the structures that we are going to be looking at. I think this is a ruin, and in this biome you will see unicorns. These are super cool. Super cool. So I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do that. But the same way you team them, it's just like horses. You team them the same way as horses. And you need a saddle for these as well, if I remember correctly. So I'm just gonna try to tame this one just to kind of see what it's like. And he's now my pet. So what I liked about this one, which was kind of interesting, was since the biomes replaced vanilla biomes, it was kind of cool to see a village spawn in one of the add-on biomes. But it is a regular vanilla village, so you'll see regular villagers. So now we're going to look at the tower structure. Very small, from the inside at least. And of course it has its own loot. The unique one in this one is the Lunarwood saplings. And you got that cool looking door there. And it has its own foliage, of course. Then this one is the ruins. This is a super cool build that I really enjoyed. And looked at and admired quite a lot. So again, this was a manually spawned one, so they won't be generating like this. So we got some more loot there. And let's take a look at the structure from the outside in all its glory. Just look at that. It's incredible. So this is the tower, not the other one. I don't remember what the other one was, but this is the tower structure. Let's go ahead and check this one out inside. We have some loot in here. The stairs do not work like vanilla stairs. I'm not sure if maybe that's something that they can work on and figure out in the future, but you have to like jump on them. So that's some feedback for the devs as well. The stairs do not work like regular stairs, but they're pretty, I'll tell you that much. So you can see the tower goes all the way up. So let's go ahead and go to the highest that we can. So if we go to the top, you will see that you have a nice view. So let's head back down and let's start preparing to see the next structure. And of course, in this biome there is also fireflies, as you can see, that give you a bit of light in the area, which is pretty cool. So you see some vanilla grass as well, lava. Next we are on the Volcano Peaks biome. This is another one of my favorites. This will spawn in stony peaks and wind-swept savannas. This one has a total of 5 structures, but most of the structures that are in here are not your typical structures that we have seen so far, like houses and stuff like that. They're actually going to be things that blend in with the biome. So you'll see like lava falling out and stuff like that. Those are considered structures. So there is a geyser, 2 magmas, 1 spike, and then the actual volcano. But the volcano kind of looks similar to the geyser, which I thought it was gonna be like a legit like volcano, but I guess it wasn't, or my expectations were a little bit too high, I guess. I don't know, I'm not sure. I don't want to word that in an unfair manner, but I guess I expected like a full-blown volcano, but I guess that can't be done. So this is the geyser. Again, like I mentioned, it kind of like blends in with the biome, so it's not really like what you call a typical structure or like in a traditional sense. But now we are looking at magma, the first magma structure. Then we are looking at the second magma structure. Okay, then we have the spikes, which you've kind of seen previously when I was flying around. So those are really cool. They blend in with like the stony peaks. And then lastly we have the volcano. So this is the volcano what I was talking about. It kind of looks like a volcano, I'm not gonna lie, but at the same time it kind of feels like it could have been slightly bigger. When you can look inside, so maybe that's something they can add, like an additional structure. So something that I noticed is that some of the items from other biomes will kind of like fuse with other biomes from the add-on, like that tree there. But anyway, let's move on to the toxic swamp. The toxic swamp will spawn in Swampland. So if you find any swamp, most likely you will find this biome. So the toxic swampland, or swampland I should say, correct myself, has a total of 3 structures. This is one of them. I believe this one is the hut, if I'm not mistaken. And of course inside you'll find, just as with the other structures, some loot. This one has some loot unique to its own biome, like that toxic slime. Of course there's going to be loot inside the barrels, totem of undying, diamond chest plate, heart of the sea, some fireworks, blaze rod, and of course it's always random, so you can always find something different if you ever find these. So this one was spawned in manually, it was not spawned in naturally. so it will look a little bit out of place. And that's the door, so the door is pretty cool. So now we're going to move on to the skull structure, which this one was spawned in manually as well. I'm gonna be honest, I couldn't see the skull. Like, no matter how hard I tried to get in front and see if I can see the skull, but I was not piecing it together. Maybe it's just me. Now, one thing I noticed is the toxic magma. I think that's bugged because when you step on it without crouching, I believe you're supposed to take damage, but it only happened after I placed the block myself, which you will see shortly. So I've stepped over a bunch of toxic magma and I did not lose any health, but for whatever reason right there I did. I'm not sure why. There's not really like an explanation for it, so I'm not sure what is going on, but this is the skull structure. There is a chest inside as well. Now, as you can see, I'm stepping on the toxic magma and nothing's happening. But this is the last structure. This is the trunk structure. It's supposed to be like a giant tree, but shaped after a giant tree, and you're just able to see what's left of the trunk. So that's pretty cool. But I love like that toxic greenish look of the entire biome and the blocks that are, you know, that are made from the wood. So it's pretty cool to me. So of course this is gonna have its own loot as well. You know, crossbows, a bunch of random stuff, pitcher pods. That kind of threw me off. That little fence gate was like a different color. So I don't know. It was kind of weird, but. And then you have some beds too. I noticed that I believe almost all the structures spawn beds. So that's kind of cool. So if you need to spawn something or you need to take the bed, that's always an option for you. So we're going to take a look at some more loot here. Now we make our way to the horror forest. This is one of my favorites. So this one will spawn in eroded badlands and pale gardens only. So for this one, I will leave the music off so you can experience the ambience and how it feels to be in a place like this. So this biome has a total of 6 structures. It has the most of all the biomes, but it's so cool. So I recommend listening to this part with headphones on. I am going to raise the volume so you can kind of hear the ambience that you can experience while you're in these biomes. And of course, you'll see the mixture of like the pale garden or whatever biome you find this in. So this one was actually spawned in naturally, if I remember correctly. So this is one of the ones that was spawned in naturally. So, you know, it'll have loot and stuff in here as usual. You know, barrels, chests. You could turn this into your own base as well, which would be kind of cool. Imagine being in a creepy and pairing this with like doing a survival with like the, you know, dwellers or something, and you can only be in this biome or something. I don't know. You can only live in this biome. I don't know. Just a thought, but that would be kind of cool. So, of course, you have, you know, some more loot in here: diamonds, iron ingots, saddles, beetroot seeds, beds, and a window so you can see into the depths of despair. It's kind of cool. But let's get on out of here and let's take a look at the other structures. You never know, there might be some hidden goodies in there. So now we are looking at Ruin 2, which this one I spawned in manually as well. And of course it will have a chest at the top. So let's take a look what we got in there. And you'll see like some crow feathers and stuff because crows will spawn in this biome, I believe. And again, if you need some information when the add-on does come out and you do decide to purchase this, which I highly recommend, you could check out the wiki link and that'll have all the information that you need. So this one was interesting. This one reminded me of a portal, which makes me wonder if potentially when portals become a thing in the future, if it ever does, maybe this can be a portal to something, a new dimension. Just a thought. I don't know, but that would be kind of cool to see. So next we have ruin number 4, which I didn't see anything in here. So maybe this is just like to give life to the biome. And that one, of course, I spawned manually as well. Now we are going to look at the skull. Now this one I can see the skull. When you back up, you could definitely see the skull, and it's creepy. But I really liked it. So we go inside. I believe there's loot, of course. And that chest right over there. We got Heart of the Sea, Diamond Sword, Shield. You know, just some stuff. So the lag I'm experiencing is because I was loading chunks from one side of the map to another side of the map. So I did not have any actual lag because of the biomes itself. But that's it for the horror one. Now we are moving to the Sky Islands. These will spawn in the deep lukewarm oceans high above, which is why you saw me in the water. So this one is incredible. This is a Sky Island done right, in my opinion. There's a lot of mobs that spawn in here, both good and bad. And you can even trade. There's like a Sky Island trader, which is super cool. And I kind of want to fly over to show you guys. So this is the Islander trader, and he'll give you some, you know, basic stuff like food, candles, and every trader that you find will have random items for sale. So it's not going to be the same every single time. So let's explore around. The zombies took care of that Islander like nothing. We have some of these light spirits, I think they're called. I can never remember the name of these things, but regardless, there's a bunch of them here. So let's go ahead and give a listen to the ambient sounds as well before I continue. So this biome has a total of 3 structures. There's a pavilion, the shrine, and the statue. So this is a pavilion. This one is super cool looking. It's like something out of Rome, like the Roman Colosseum kind of style, like the Greek building style. But this one has a lot of loot in it, I'm gonna be honest, because there's so many barrels and so many chests laying around. So it has quite a lot. But I don't think this is a biome that you will find quite often. So this one, in the context, makes sense for it to have a lot of stuff. So let's continue looking around, checking out the loot they got. Some books, another Heart of the Sea, quite a light. Oh my gosh, what's wrong with me? Quite a lot of stuff in here, like I mentioned. Some bread in case you need some food. Up here, and then we have these cool looking golems, cloud golem, whatever you want to call it. I'm not sure what's the right way to say that. If it's golem, I think it's golem, but who knows. I'm not sure what he was trying to attack. It might have been like that little light blue spirit over there. I'm not sure. I missed it though. But regardless, it was attacking something. Just don't know what. So quite a few ender pearls, diamonds, emeralds, and another barrel underneath. So we look up top, and you can see like a glass covering, which is kind of cool. I didn't see anything extra up there that we can get, but it's a cool build, very cool build. So now we are moving on to the next structure, which I spawned in manually, which is the shrine. Has that one chest right there with loot in it. So nothing big, nothing crazy. I actually like that. Really balanced. So next we are looking at the Wind Dragon. This one is so cool. It's definitely designed after the Ender Dragon, just in white with wings. and you spawn, I mean not spawn it, you tame it by sitting on it, and you can fly across between the different islands. And for me, I feel like that is the best method of transport to travel between the sky islands if you find one of these. Now I did notice that some of the mobs do spawn a lot next to each other, which you'll see in a few minutes right after we check out this structure, which is the statue and the last structure in this biome. This is so incredible. It feels like something out of like God of War or something. They did a really good job with this one. And of course we got some more loot in here, so it's gonna be 2 chests. It's that one down there, so make sure you look out for that one, and this one all the way at the top with more additional loot inside. And let's just take a look at this build all around. It's incredible. So this is what I was saying, that some of the mobs did spawn a lot next to each other. I don't know why it's like that. So maybe that's something they need to tweak, like the spawning frequency. And then you'll see 2 dragons right there. But that is it mostly for the sky islands. Let's move on to the last, actually it's not the last surface biome. There's one more after this, but this is the Redwood Forest. There are no structures in here, but the way that this generates is absolutely beautiful. And I know this is going to be a lot of people's favorite biomes because it just looks so natural, and it's done extremely well. Add some trees, some mushrooms, and it just fits in completely. And this one will actually be able to be found in the pine or old pine, I think it's old growth pine taigas. So if you find that, you will find the Redwood Forest, which looks like this. So if we go into the sky and see how it generates, you can see that this expands a long way. Now another thing that I noticed is that some of the biomes will kind of like merge into each other, and some of the trees will be in another biome, which I'm not sure if that's supposed to. Like you can see right there, there's a red whisper forest, but you have trees from the redwood forest in there, which we'll kind of go check that out again. But I wanted to show you how far along the redwood forest expands into the old growth pine taigas. It's pretty far, but this is what I was mentioning. The red whisper forest has some redwood forest trees in here, and I'm not sure if that is intended for them to do that or if it's a bug. So lastly, we have the last surface biome, which is the Lavender Fields, and this spawns in the meadows. This one also has no structures, but it is a nice addition excuse me, it is a nice addition to the plains or like meadow style biomes, where it doesn't alter it too much, but it does give you kind of like that purple fog and lavender flowers that you can pick up and you can turn to, I think it's purple dye. And you can see also with this one that this one kind of extends far out, but it's nice because it doesn't change too much, but it gives life to the meadows biomes instead of just those, you know, yellow flowers. I don't know if they're, I forget, they're oxydaisies or what they're called, daisies, dandelions, I forget. But anyway, that is pretty much it for this one. Nothing too extravagant, but expands worlds. Now let's head underground. So the first underground biome we have is the Crystal Cave, and this one spawns under dark forest only. They will have these crystals in here that you can use as decorative blocks, and it's cool because when you place them on top of those, it creates like that drippy thing underneath that you saw. So now with this, with these buds, I'm not sure if they're supposed to be held upside down or if that's a bug, but it was kind of weird. So again, there's all kinds of different crystals with those buds. You can, when they're fully grown, like amethyst shards, I believe you could break them and get some shards that you could turn into crystal lamps that we will show later on in the video. But this one was a big cave. Those flying things, they also drop crystal shards as well, so you can, if you kill those, you can get some shards and you can use that to make your stuff also. So this one went pretty far in to the lush cave, and that lush cave was gorgeous, if I say so myself. But this went pretty far in, and you can see all the different colors: orange, red, and of course they'll have their own respective names, but they're like topaz, apatite, and stuff like that. But you can get the gist of what each one is. And if we get rid of this one, you will see that it will drop a shard. So I killed that one, but it dropped a topaz one. So I'm not sure if that one is also a bug or if it's just random. But you can see it even extends all the way down there. So next we have the desert caves. The desert caves will be found spawning on there, obviously. Deserts. This one also has no structures, but you can find things like, sorry for the noise, ores and stuff like that. Again, there was some lag here, but it wasn't because of the add-on itself. It's because I was loading the worlds like super far apart from each other, because I was all over the place in terms of coordinates. But you can see there's different foliage here and stuff like that as well. But this is such a cool concept for caves being underground. It would be even cooler if you could have like occasional sand falling down. So as you can see, you'll see ores of different kinds: iron, redstone, and then there's this real cool block here. It says skull pile. I think that adds to the immersion, kind of creepy, like all the lives that were lost or you know, perished inside a cave that couldn't find their way out. That's super cool. I mean, that's how I see this as. That makes the most sense to me. So I was just trying to light up the area so you guys can get a better view of what it looks like. So now that it's lit up, you can kind of see. So now we're gonna go on to the mobs. So there is a lot of mobs. Again, I'm not gonna show where each one spawns because we will be here forever. But you can see here, flip through the book, you can see their drops, but it won't tell you necessarily where each one spawns. Well, actually it does, but in the form of a sapling. So you just kind of got to figure it out from there if you don't want to go to the wiki. So that's a cool looking one. That's the roseate spoonbill. This is a crow. We have the mushroom villager, which you can trade with, which will spawn in the Shroomlands. And of course, he'll give you some mushrooms and stuff like that by trading with other mushrooms. And that'll always be different too. Next, we have I forget what's this one. Just gonna kind of take all of them off and go through them. It's easier that way. We have this one that spawns in the Mire, which is the horror forest. Super cool. I love the sound that it emits. The running animation is kind of funny. So we have large infected mushroom, which that will also spawn in the Shroomlands too, I believe. Then we have the centipede. This one I'm not sure where it spawns, to be honest. It might be like a toxic swampland, but don't quote me. We have enchanted butterfly. From my understanding, I know that spawns in like 3 different locations. I know the enchanted forest is one of them. Not sure about the others. And we have a ghost spawn egg, which we saw earlier. That's in the Red Whisper forest. We have an islander. This islander, if you kill them, they will drop something, an item for you to craft the staff that we will see later on. And this one spawns in the Sky Islands. And I believe this one you can trade with as well, which is kind of like what we saw earlier. You can get that dagger from him. Then you have the lava golem, which will spawn, of course, in the volcanoes, obviously. I'm gonna grab some more spawn egg here. So we have quite a few here. This one is the Firefly. I know this one has a rare drop to drop a Firefly jar, which I think if you throw it, it'll give you like some light. Then we have the Flower Mob Spawn Egg. I can't remember where this one spawns, so I'm not even gonna say. We got the Worm Spawn Egg. I'm not sure where that one spawns either. Then we have the Swamp Creature, which will spawn, of course, in the Toxic Swamp and I believe other swamps. He's a savage, so be careful with him. Tried to save him, but he wasn't budging. Then we have the Swamp Trap, like a Venus flytrap, the mutated version. Then we have a Light Monster, which I think those are the ones we saw earlier in the Enchanted Forest. We have a Beaver. The Beaver are supposed to strip logs. I don't know how often, but I tried it out here and it didn't seem to strip anything. It just kind of like walked away, and I was like, I'm not doing this right now. I'm tired. So let's go back and continue looking at the rest. Gonna grab some of these as well. Like I said, there's a lot. There's a whole bunch. Could be here all day. It just goes on. We have the Fire Spirit, the Owl, which spawns in like different like dense biomes like the taiga and stuff like that. Toxic Slime. It's kind of cool. Mythical Deer. This one will also drop an item that you can use to craft a weapon that we will show later on. Bro. Those swamp creatures just don't like the islanders. Then we have this crystal floating thingy. A red panda. So cute. The Islander Spirit, that's the item that you were going to use for the staff that you'll see later on. So we have the Redwood Bear, which spawns in the Redwood, obviously. Super savage looking. I like the little walking animation too, it's kind of cute. Let's head back and get some more. Grab these. So we have the Raccoon, which you've seen a lot. The Mummy. And go ahead and switch it to nighttime so he don't burn. Oops. I meant to put night. Let me go ahead and switch that again. Okay, there you go. So the Fire Spirit like kind of flickers. It's kind of annoying. I don't know if that's a bug or intended, but it's kind of annoying. We have the Mummy, Scorpion, which drops food, from my understanding, that you can cook. Cloud Creature. Oh, this is what we saw in the Sky Islands. That's right. It's called a Cloud Creature. So let's go grab some more spawn eggs and see what we got here. Okay, I couldn't grab that. Alright, so we have the Sprout. This one, if you kill it, it'll drop a green radish. It has a chance to drop that, and you can eat that as food. Then this is the dragons that we saw. So you can get an egg, like a literal egg, which is cool. And you can birth them that way, I believe. Then the pumpkin skeleton. These are ones that we saw at the beginning of the video that spawn in the orange forest. From my understanding, that's the only way that you can get the sword that he's holding. There's no way to craft that, but we will show that later on. And we have the Cloud Golem as well. Killed the snake, so I dropped some raw snake. And we're going to look at the last of the mobs, including the 3 traders that we have not got to look at yet. So let's go ahead and bring this down. And then there was a rat too that I forgot to show, but there's a rat and the woodpeckers that we saw, which is standing right there. So we got the swamp crayfish. Then we have the branch monster, which we also saw in the orange forest at the beginning of the video. We have the baby unicorn, which I guess there's a chance to have a baby if it's spawned with the spawn egg. Crystal golem. This one we did not see. I believe this spawns in the crystal caves. We have a small infected mushroom. Little baby cutie pie. Plant golem. We saw these in the Enchanted Forest. So we have some traders that will spawn in certain biomes. So we have this one, which uses emeralds to to trade with. There's a unicorn horn, some foliage, doors. Then the autumn, which is the orange forest, trader. If we speak to them, they'll trade similar items, shards, radiant shards, mushrooms, arrows, some useful stuff, name tags. Then we have the last one, which is the one that spawns in the Enchanted Forest. And that one will give you some stuff like wolf armor, unicorn horn, elder antlers, and some foliage as well. And I believe that's kind of changes every time you see a different one. So it's a random chance for their, not random chance, but different stuff for them to be able to trade with you. It's not gonna be the same thing all the time. So now we're going to move on to the items and weapons. So the first item we have is the brown mushroom hat. This does not give you any effects from my understanding, but it is a cool looking little collector's item. Oh, effective shroom hat, I'm sorry. Let's put that on. So now I'm a mushroom. My head is full of fungus. That's cool. Next we have, I think it's the monster head. You obtain these items from destroying that Murkmire monster that spawns in the horror forest. And it's a horror head. That doesn't give you no special effects either as far as I'm aware. But that looks funny. That looks cool too. I don't know why my skin keeps changing to Steve, but we're just gonna ignore that. Then we have the red mushroom hat. So we have the red infected mushroom hat, I think it's called. And of course that's going to be crafted with red mushrooms that you find in the Shroomlands, I believe. So we have another mushroom hat here. And then we have the invisibility cloak. Those are ghostly tissues that are obtained from killing the ghosts in the Red Whisper Forest. And this one does have a special effect or ability that I did not know how to activate it at first until afterwards. But if you crouch, you will turn invisible, which is cool. So I'll show you that in a second. So I was sitting here trying to figure out how the heck this works, and I couldn't get anything. So I said, okay, well, I guess this doesn't do anything. Regardless, this is the owl wings. This is dropped by killing owls. And those owl feathers is what you're going to use to craft it. So let's go ahead and craft that. And with this, you'll see that's the ability with the owl wings. I give you like floating. And this is when I figured it out. So if you use the invisibility cloak, you'll turn invisible. So that's super cool. Make you feel like you're part of Harry Potter, or you turn into a ghost. That's cool. So next we have the staff, which is some of the new weapons, which again, you can craft it by getting the Islander spirits, which is obtained by killing the islanders that look like traders in the Sky Islands. Right there, you can see it. And then 2 sticks, of course. This one is kind of powerful in my opinion, but it looks super cool. So if you press interact, you will shoot like these light bolts. You can see him running away because he's scared. So again, that sword right there is only obtainable by killing those skeleton pumpkins in the orange forest. Let's see how much damage it does. Next time I'll set up health bars so we know how much damage these things take, because I'd be forgetting about that. So next we are going to look at the, I forget what's the name of this, but it's 2 elder antlers, which are obtained from the elder deers in the Enchanted Forest, and a stick, and then you get the magical antler sword. And this one does +6 damage, but it doesn't have any special abilities as far as I'm aware. So I think this one took 3 hits to kill the scorpion. Yeah, 3 hits. So pretty powerful. I think don't remember how much health the scorpion has. But next we have the plant heart, I think it's called. A plant golem heart, and this gives you 2 effects. As you can see here, it gives you speed and strength too, which is cool. Cool little usage of that item. Then we have the green radish, which is a new food that I told you can obtain from killing the sprout. I don't remember which biome that is found in, but I know that it drops that. So I know that does give you some health back. Then we have the fireball, which is dropped from the fire spirit, of course, which is found in the volcano biomes. But that one is strong, but it does damage your build, so keep that in mind. It does destroy blocks. So next we have the firefly jar, which, like I mentioned earlier, has a chance to drop by killing fireflies, and it does give some light, I believe. I could be wrong on that one. I'm not exactly sure what that does. But then we have bandages as well. That is made by killing mummies and obtaining mummy bandages, a total of 4. And this will give you instant health back. So you won't see it here because our health is full. But let's go ahead and get attacked, and then you can see. So you see he did about, I think it's 4 hours of damage. Yeah, 4.5. So if we heal up with the bandage, you will see our health will go back up. Then we have the bear's skewer, which is made with cooked bear meat and 1 stick. And of course this will replenish your food. Delicious. Then we have the unicorn horn. So this doesn't do anything. So the unicorn only says that it plays a soothing sound. But what I think would be a cool feature to have would be like if you tame a unicorn and you use the unicorn horn, it'll call it to you if you have one tamed. I think that would be a really cool feature to have. So we have the wind thing. I don't know what that's called that we just use. It just kind of gives you a boost into the air. Doesn't do any damage. Then we have the crystal lamps, which of course can be crafted with radiant shards, the geodite blocks found in the crystal caves, and a specific colored shard or whatever you like that can be obtained from those crystal flying things that we saw earlier around like the different biomes. On the radiant shard, I know it can be traded with villagers, but I'm not sure how to get that. And it does emit light, so that'll be something cool for your builds. Now there are 2 more items that I did not include on the recipes. There is no recipe, but these dragon scale items that drop from the wind dragon can be used for potions for fire resistance. And as you can see here, with the dragon scale and the brewing stand, you'll get fire resistance potion. Then we have the scorpion stinger that's dropped from scorpions, and this one is actually used to make potions of poison. So you can use these for like splash potions of poison and stuff like that if you want to go ahead and do that. So those are just 2 items that I wanted to show you before we moved on to the new wood types. I was going to show off, the different stuff that you can make with the woods. I didn't show the actual woods because you saw them on the trees, so I didn't feel like that was really something that I needed to show. But I'm going to show you all the things that you can craft. So right here, you'll see you can make trapdoors, doors, slabs, planks, fences, and fence gates, and stairs. Now I know that earlier I said that the stairs didn't work like vanilla stairs, but like they kind of do. But you have to like walk directly in the middle of it, or else it won't really function like that, and it'll kind of have your character like jump. So it's kind of weird, but it works, I guess, if that's what you want to say. But I want to show you these here. This is the redwood, the toxic wood, the orange wood from the orange forest. And I'm just going to show you the back side of them. Now the fence connects to the door, and I'm not sure that's a limitation or something they can fix, but I wanted to show you guys that. So with that said, there's a lot to this add-on, But I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I hope it helps you make a decision if you want to go ahead and purchase this. But I really do recommend this add-on because it is incredible. Don't forget to like and consider subscribing.